As a member of the social work faculty, I feel privileged to deliver the commencement address today. Let me first extend my heartiest congratulations to the graduates and wish you continued success throughout your lives. This graduation commencement means more than bringing closure to your most recent role as student. It marks the beginning of your responsibility as an Ambrose alumnus. An ongoing commitment to social justice ideal and the service vision of the university is a defining characteristic of what makes a graduate an Ambrosian for life. As a fellow Ambrosian, I often take time to reflect on passages in my life that have shaped my own commitment to social justice and service to others. Some of those life course events haunt me, others challenge me, and gratefully, most inspire me. First of all, it is important to feel deeply about those things that haunt you. I am haunted, for example, by the memory of my visit to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. Although a college student myself during the Vietnam era, I was taken aback by the sheer number of military personnel, many of my own age cohort, whose 58,000 plus names are memorialized on the panels of that black granite wall, including the name of a high school classmate carved on panel 13W. I am also haunted by my images of my visit to the Oklahoma City bombing memorial upon seeing the 169 glass chairs, including 19 child-sized ones, in that field of empty chairs inscribed with the names of each man, woman, and child who died in that 1995 domestic terrorist attack. I also recall my emotional reaction as I toured the field of Flight 93 National Memorial Plaza in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where in the wake of the 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center, 40 heroic passengers and crew members made the ultimate sacrifice to protect our nation's capital. Each of these memorials affected me deeply then, and the lingering images in my mind's eye today still evoke an overwhelming sense of serenity. I was moved too by the personal stories of loss as told to me by displaced persons with whom I worked in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. I'm also disturbed by the media images of grief-stricken teens following the Columbine school shooting, and the homes that have been reduced to rubble from the earthquake in Haiti, and the cascading waves of the tsunami in India, which wiped out entire communities, and the damage to cities and farmlands due to the epic flooding here in the Midwest. I mention only a few slices of memories from my lifetime because of how they affected me emotionally. These are images that still linger in my heart. These are memories of events to feel deeply about. Secondly, it is important to think critically about issues that challenge you. Many issues of national, local, and global concern have arisen throughout my adult lifetime that challenge the way I think. We live in a complicated world, and we face issues of environmental depletion, terrorist aggression, human rights violation, poverty, conflict between nations, space exploration, unbridled technology, and even political shenanigans. All of these are ethical, moral, and political issues of concern to me now and for the future. I recognize the importance of being engaged in the dialogue to seek solutions that improve the human condition and confront social injustice. My thinking on many of these issues is informed by my own social works profession code of ethics, as well as the Catholic teachings on social justice, including, for example, the social teachings on preferential options for the poor and vulnerable, stewardship of the earth, protection of human rights, justice for newcomers, policies for the common good, solidarity among nations, and the promotion of peace. The social issues I highlighted intellectually challenge me. They are issues to wrap my brain around. They are concerns to think critically about. And lastly, inspiration is needed for one to act boldly. I have been inspired by visits to various historic sites that sustain my commitment to be actively involved in service to others and to be engaged in social movements that champion human rights and social justice. Among my memories include a visit to our nation's most historic landmark, Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where our founding fathers risked charges of sedition to sign the Declaration of Independence and later draft our nation's Constitution. I remember also a tour of Jane Addams' Hull House in Chicago, a hub of progressive social policy at the beginning of the 20th century. And even passing by the United Nations headquarters in New York City to view the waving flags of the 193 member states. Perhaps, though, nothing has been more motivating, however, than listening once again to the recorded voice of Dr. Martin Luther King delivering his inspirational "I Have a Dream" speech during my recent tour of the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site in Atlanta. But we don't need to travel across the country to find inspiration. I'm inspired by the generous life and gentle spirit of Father William Dawson, by the history of social activism of our own university, faculty, staff, and students in the civil rights and peace movements, as well as by the university-sponsored service learning projects in our community and across the country. I also draw inspiration from hearing the stories of students who have triumphed over adversity to complete their education. I draw inspiration from viewing public service announcements about St. Jude's Hospital, waiting in a long line at the voting polls on Election Day, witnessing the embrace of travelers reuniting with loved ones at the airport, and pulling curbside as our local motorcycle Patriot Guard riders escort the hearse of a returning fallen soldier to our community. These are passages in my life from which I draw inspiration. These are events that are motivating. These are experiences that inspire me to act boldly. So finally, graduates and guests, as you reflect on your own life course and construct a blueprint for the future, I ask that you too feel deeply when events haunt you. Think critically about issues that challenge you and act boldly in the pursuit of peace, social justice, and human rights. Congratulations and best wishes for continued happiness and success throughout your lives.